They waited until the door closed behind you, until your footsteps faded down the hall, until they were certain you couldn't hear. That's when they spoke your name. Who does she think she is? He'll never accomplish what he's claiming. That calling they talk about, it's just delusion. Chosen one. If you've ever walked into a room and felt the conversation shift, if you've ever sensed that your dreams were being dismantled in your absence, if you've ever caught that look exchanged between others when you shared your vision, this message has found its way to you by divine appointment. Those secret conversations weren't random. The opposition wasn't coincidental. There's a reason your very presence, your dreams, your spiritual sensitivity triggered something in them. In the realm of the spirit, recognition precedes attack. What the enemy can identify as threatening, he immediately targets for destruction. Right now, before this message continues, I need you to hit that subscribe button. This revelation about your divine purpose is just the beginning. The enemy doesn't want you to receive these truths that will activate your calling. Every chosen one watching this, your spirit recognized this message for a reason. Subscribe now to unlock the spiritual insights heaven has reserved specifically for you. Today, someone is finally telling you the truth. Those whispers behind closed doors, those unexpected betrayals from people you trusted, they're not evidence of your failure. They are confirmation of your calling. In heaven's court, your name has been spoken too, not with derision, with destiny, not with doubt, with divine purpose. The opposition you face is directly proportional to the threat you pose to darkness. Welcome, awakening soul. This revelation is for you. This pattern of opposition has ancient roots in the kingdom realm. When divine purpose marks a soul, spiritual resistance immediately follows. Consider Joseph, a young man with dreams of destiny. His brothers didn't just dislike him, they were driven to destroy him. What provoked such hatred? The divine markers on his life that they instinctively recognized before he fully understood them himself. David's anointing immediately awakened Saul's jealousy. One moment of divine selection triggered years of pursuit and attempted destruction. Even Jesus himself faced opposition from the moment of his birth. Herod sensed a threat to his earthly power and moved to eliminate it. Chosen one. There's a revelation here that will transform how you view rejection. When heaven places a calling on someone, hell places a target. Think back to when the criticism began in your own journey. When did relationships suddenly shift? When did doors mysteriously close? When did the whispers start? It typically happens right as you begin taking those first trembling steps toward what God has whispered to your heart. The most profound truth I need you to grasp today is this. They sensed your anointing before you fully embraced it. Something in you, your potential, your calling, your God-given purpose, triggered a spiritual reaction, and someone became a vessel for opposition. The enemy doesn't waste resources attacking those who pose no threat. The level of opposition often reveals the level of your anointing. What if every betrayal wasn't a setback, but a setup? What if every closed door wasn't rejection, but redirection? What if every secret conversation against you wasn't evidence against your calling, but heaven's confirmation of it? This is the divine recognition pattern. Your opposition is your authentication. How do you know if you're truly chosen? If these attacks are confirmation rather than coincidence. The divine leaves fingerprints on those he selects for uncommon purpose. First, you've always felt different even as a child, like you were seeing dimensions others couldn't perceive. A persistent knowing that your life was meant for something beyond the ordinary path. This feeling isn't pride. It's purpose encoded in your spiritual DNA. You experience moments of unexplainable insight, divine downloads that arrive without logical explanation, truths that appear in your spirit with crystal clarity. Perhaps you've received dreams that later manifested in waking life, or found scriptures suddenly illuminating with personal meaning just when you needed guidance. You find yourself drawn to broken places and broken people. Where others see only chaos, you see kingdom potential. Your heart breaks specifically, not generally, for particular injustices, particular groups of people, particular areas where heaven desires to invade earth. And here's the confirmation many miss. The opposition you face is oddly specific to your calling. If you're chosen to speak truth, your words are attacked. If you're chosen to lead, your character is questioned. If you're chosen to create, your creativity is dismissed. The enemy's strategy against you reveals what heaven has commissioned you to do. Remember the story of Moses at the burning bush? His first response wasn't confidence, but objection. Who am I? The chosen often struggle with deep inadequacy. If you've ever thought, "Surely not me, Lord. I'm not qualified, not ready, not enough," you stand in the company of nearly every major biblical figure. If you're experiencing these divine markers in your life right now, I want you to type "chosen" in the comments below. It's time to acknowledge what heaven has declared over you, despite what others have whispered about you. The disciples were ordinary people. David was the overlooked youngest. Esther was an orphan. Heaven's selection criteria has always confounded human expectations, and now heaven has selected you. The battlefield isn't just external. The most vicious attacks happen within the terrain of your own mind. Those nights when overwhelming doubt floods your consciousness, that sudden fear paralyzing your next step forward. The voice whispering, "Who are you to think you could do this?" This isn't mere insecurity, it's spiritual warfare at its most intimate level. The lone warrior understands this truth. If the enemy can defeat you internally, he never has to face you externally. What makes this warfare particularly devastating is its strategic timing. Have you noticed how attacks intensify right after moments of breakthrough or divine confirmation? This follows the pattern Jesus experienced immediately after heaven opened, and the Father declared, "This is my beloved Son." The wilderness testing began. The enemy studies your movements in the Spirit. When you receive revelation, when you step toward your calling, when heaven confirms your identity, the internal assault begins. You start questioning what you heard. You wonder if you misinterpreted God's voice. The vision that once burned bright begins to dim under the weight of doubt. This internal battle can wound deeper than any external opposition. But the divine messenger must remember, your struggle isn't against flesh and blood, but against dark spiritual forces that recognize your potential. This is where spiritual discipline becomes your lifeline. Daily immersion in truth, prayer that transcends religious routine and becomes relationship, worship that shifts atmospheres. These aren't religious performances, they're spiritual armor. The awakening soul recognizes victory in the spirit always precedes victory in the natural realm. Your mind is holy ground, worth fighting for. And what the enemy contests most fiercely is precisely what heaven has confirmed most clearly. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where betrayal transforms into breakthrough. The very hands that pushed you into the pit become the catalyst for your palace promotion. Consider Joseph sold by brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. Each betrayal appeared to move him further from his dreams. Yet every painful moment was positioning him precisely where his divine purpose required him to be. The misunderstood often walks this path. Your closest connections become your deepest wounds. Those who should have protected your vision became its greatest threats. Family members who rolled their eyes, friends who changed the subject, mentors who cautioned you to be realistic. But here's what's happening in the spiritual realm. What appears to be derailment is actually divine redirection. What feels like abandonment is actually divine alignment. Wait until you hear this next revelation. It will completely transform how you view the betrayals you've endured. The light bearer must understand this profound truth. Heaven permits what it could prevent, because what looks like destruction is actually development. Joseph later stood before those same brothers and declared a truth that will liberate you today. What you intended for harm, God intended for good. This is heaven's supernatural alchemy. Opposition transformed into opportunity. Rejection reshaped into redirection. Wounds converted into wisdom. The pit and the prison weren't detours from Joseph's destiny, but the very path to it. Your breakthrough rarely looks like what you expected. It's not usually a sudden absence of challenges. Rather, it's a profound internal shift, a settling into your chosen identity, a quieting of the need for human approval, a clarity about your divine assignment that transcends circumstances. The most powerful weapons formed against you will become the most powerful testimonies formed within you. No tongue raised in judgment against you will stand. This is your heritage as God's servant, your vindication from the Lord. The betrayal was never the end of your story, it was only the beginning. But you are not abandoned in this battle. Spiritually gifted one, heaven has established a divine counterbalance system for every voice speaking against you in secret. God is raising up a voice that will speak for you. For every Saul, there's a Jonathan. For every accuser, there's an advocate. What does this divine confirmation look like in your journey? Divine appointments, encounters that could only be orchestrated by God. Someone crosses your path and speaks exactly what your heart needed to hear, though they couldn't possibly have known your situation. These aren't coincidences, they're cosmic confirmations. Prophetic patterns emerge. The same message arrives through multiple, unconnected sources. A conversation, a message, a book recommendation, all echoing the same truth about your purpose, creating an undeniable pattern of divine communication. Supernatural provision appears, resources manifest precisely when needed. Doors open that were firmly shut. Timing aligns too perfectly to be random. The divine always funds what he fashions. And perhaps most powerfully, unexplainable resilience rises within you. Despite opposition, despite internal warfare, something in you refuses to quit. This supernatural stubbornness isn't just personality, it's evidence of God-given calling. If you've experienced these divine confirmations recently, type "confirmed" in the comments. Your testimony will strengthen another chosen one watching this. The God who called you is also your defender. No weapon crafted against you will succeed. Every voice raised in accusation will be silenced by heaven's verdict over your life. There comes a divine tipping point for every chosen one, a sacred moment when everything changes. Not because your circumstances suddenly improve, but because your spiritual eyes fully open. This transformation isn't merely external. It's an internal revolution where heaven's perspective finally overrides earth's limitations. The awakening soul experiences this as a profound shift in identity, from survivor to overcomer, from rejected to selected, from misunderstood to divinely understood. What you now see with crystal clarity is how God strategically used every element of opposition. Your character was being refined to carry the weight of your calling. Like gold purified by fire, The heat of opposition removed impurities that would have compromised your purpose. Your dependence deepened not on human validation, but on divine direction. When human voices proved unreliable, you learned to distinguish the voice of truth. Your purpose sharpened through resistance. The unique contours of your calling became more defined as you pushed against opposition. Your spiritual strength developed beyond what casual faith could produce. The warfare created spiritual muscle that peaceful seasons never build. Here's the revelation you've been waiting for. The secret conversations about you were permitted because God knew they would propel you toward your divine destiny. The words spoken about you in secret lose their power when you finally understand the words spoken about you in heaven. What others meant for evil against you, God meant for good to accomplish what's happening now, the saving of many lives through your obedience to purpose. This is your transformation moment. You stop seeing yourself through the lens of earthly rejection and start seeing yourself through heaven's perfect perspective. The opinions whispered behind closed doors become irrelevant in light of heaven's thunderous declaration over your life. You were never the victim of their rejection. You were always the vessel of divine selection, chosen one. You stand at a divine crossroads. The secret conversations have been exposed for what they truly are, confirmation of your calling, not contradiction of your worth. Your path forward is clear. Recognize opposition as authentication. When they gather to speak against your purpose, let it strengthen rather than weaken your resolve. Guard your inner sanctuary. Be intentional about whose voices access your purpose. Not everyone deserves entry to your divine assignment. Document heaven's confirmation signs. Record the divine appointments, prophetic words, and supernatural provisions. In doubt seasons, these become your memorial stones. Find your spiritual tribe, those who see your calling even when you can't, those who speak life when others speak limitation. Move from chosen to choosing. Actively step into your purpose daily, regardless of visible results. If this message confirms something deep in your spirit today, take 3 actions. Like this video, subscribe to Chosen Path for more divine revelations, and share this with another chosen one who needs to hear that their opposition is actually their confirmation. Remember, your calling was established before criticism arrived. You were chosen before you were challenged. The secret conversations about you end today. The divine conversation about your destiny is just beginning. You are chosen, not just called, but equipped. Not just equipped, but destined. Walk in it.